Take our hands and we're going to bring them below the level of the glenohumeral joint. And the reason we're doing that is to create greater myofascial tension on the superior fibers. So we want to go ahead and take our arms down. If you are the type of person where you have very, very sensitive wrists and this is very uncomfortable, you could... Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to be your own therapist by demonstrating the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction, and more specifically, I'm going to be teaching you how to correct a retracted scapula. Before I get on with the exercises, I first want to explain what exactly a retracted scapula is and why exactly you should care. And in order to do that, I'm going to need the help of my good friend, Johnny Bone. So Johnny, get over here and show your spine to the camera. This right over here is your scapula, and a retracted scapula is when the scapula moves close toward the midline, so it's moving toward the spine. It's a very, very rare condition. Not a whole lot of people present with a retracted scapula, but if you do happen to have it, it can lead to a whole host of issues such as neck pain, upper back pain, mid back pain, low back pain, shoulder pain, so you would want to address it immediately. And one of the ways in which we could address it would be to do some strengthening exercises for the muscles that are responsible for protracting the scapula, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing for you guys today. So without further ado, here are the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula. The first strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be for the serratus anterior, and specifically we're going to be targeting the superior fibers of the serratus anterior. For this exercise right over here, we're going to be in a quadruped position, meaning you're going to be on your forepoint, your hands and your knees. And what we want to do for this exercise, you want to make sure that your hips are stacked directly above your knees. You want to make sure that you maintain retroversion of the pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, your chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing away, your eyes are looking down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And then what we want to do to target the superior fibers, we want to go ahead and take our hands and we're going to bring them below the level of the glenohumeral joint. And the reason we're doing that is to create greater myofascial tension on the superior fibers. So we want to go ahead and take our arms down. If you are the type of person where you have very, very sensitive wrists and this is very uncomfortable, you could even turn your arms out to the side or even make your fingertips facing your knees. And then the principle of action for this exercise right over here is you're going to press down into the ground and try to spread your shoulder blades as much as possible. And this is the strengthening exercise for the serratus anterior, specifically the superior fibers. And next, the second strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be for the serratus anterior muscle, and this time we're going to be focusing on the middle fibers. So to target the middle fibers, everything is pretty much exactly the same in terms of the setup. We got the hips stacked over the knees, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown and head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And then for this one, to target the middle fibers, we want our arms perpendicular to the ground. So we want them just going straight in a vertical line. We want the wrist stacked directly below the shoulders. And for this one right over here, same thing. The chin is tucked in, and we want to go into protraction of the scapula by pushing the palms down into the floor and trying to spread the shoulder blades as much as possible. And this is the strengthening exercise for the serratus anterior, specifically the middle fibers. Next, the third strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to once again be for the serratus anterior, and this time we're going to be targeting the inferior fibers. The setup position is going to be identical. We've got the hips stacked directly over the knees, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown and head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. This time, because we're targeting the inferior fibers, we want the arms above the level of the glenohumeral joint so that we can create greater myofascial tension on the inferior fibers. And then the principle of action is going to be exactly the same. We're going to press down into the ground and try to spread the shoulder blades as much as possible by going into protraction of the scapula. And this is the strengthening exercise for the serratus anterior, specifically the inferior fibers. Next, the fourth strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be for the pectoralis minor muscle. For the pectoralis minor, this one right over here, we're going to be in a supine position, meaning you're going to be laying down on your back. And for this one, what we want to do is the side that we are strengthening, we want to go ahead and we're going to straighten out that leg. We want extension of the knee, dorsiflexion of the ankle by pointing the toes toward our head, inversion of the ankle by pointing the sole of the foot in toward the midline, and then we want medial rotation of the femur. Then, at the humerus, what we want to do, actually before we get to the humerus, let's go ahead and fix the spine. We got retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown and head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Then, with the arm, we want to go ahead and go into abduction of 90 degrees. We're also going to get into 90-degree flexion of the elbow, and we want to go into external rotation by bringing our arm down toward the ground. Then, for the exercise right over here, what we want to do, you want to go ahead and take a big breath into the chest. When we take a breath into the chest, you want to try and keep your chest collapsed. You don't want the chest to raise. The reason we're doing that is because the pectoralis minor attaches to ribs 3, 4, and 5. So as the chest expands, that's going to stretch the pectoralis minor. But if we could keep the chest pinned down close toward the ground, we're going to need to use the pectoralis minor to hold those ribs down. So once again, we got retroversion pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head away, as abdomen to be the rest with the dura mater under tension, abduction of 90 degrees, flexion of elbow at 90 degrees, external rotation of humerus, then inhale into the chest, and keep the chest collapsed as you inhale. And this is the strengthening exercise for the pectoralis minor. And then last, the fifth and final strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct or retract the scapula is going to be for the pectoralis major muscle, and we're going to be doing the floor press with retraction. With regard to the pectoralis major, even though it doesn't directly involve protraction of the scapula, when you do the pressing movement, it is going to be beneficial to have protraction of the scapula, and you need protraction of the scapula when doing pushing. So that's why we're going to be doing the pectoralis major, and specifically, we're going to be doing the floor press because we don't want to go into too much retraction by bringing the elbows too far down. So this is going to allow us to shorten the pectoralis major muscle, and it's going to allow us to get a little bit more activation of the actual protractors of the scapula. What we want to do for the floor press, we're going to be laying down in a supine position. You could go ahead and place your feet firmly on the floor, retroversion to pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head away, eyes looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. Then we're going to go ahead, take a couple of dumbbells, and we want to go ahead and place the elbows down on the ground. We're then going to exhale as we press, and then at the very top of the motion, we want to go ahead and protract the scapula by going toward the sky as much as possible, and then come back down, and we're going to go until the elbows touch the ground. And this is the strengthening exercise for the pectoralis major muscle. Specifically, we are doing the floor press with protraction. And there you have it. Those were the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula. If you have a retracted scapula, or if you have issues with regard to neck pain, upper back pain, mid back pain, low back pain, shoulder pain, go ahead and give those exercises a try. And if you have given them a try, go ahead and drop your comments down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of the exercises. In terms of the actual programming for the strengthening exercises, what you want to do is 3 sets of 50 repetitions for each of the exercises, and that's 5-0, not 1-5. The reason we're going so high with the repetitions is because we're trying to elicit a postural change. And whenever we're trying to elicit a postural change, one of the most important things is going to be accumulating enough time under tension. And if we do the typical 8 to 12 bodybuilding repetition rep range, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 50 repetitions for each of the strengthening exercises. And then in a couple days on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m., I'm going to be taking you through the top 5 myofascial stretching exercises for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula. And those are going to be a terrific complement to incorporate with the exercises that we just did today. So be out on the lookout for that this Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.